Okay, so let's say I'm ready to start doing my literature review on my topic. So I go to library.fiu.edu. If I'm outside of campus, I will have to log in with my email credentials, my FIU credentials. Once we're logged in, then I will go to find A to Z databases. And I will go to W because I'm looking for my favorite database, which is Web of Science. So I'll scroll down to Web of Science, core collection. And let's say that my topic is about noise pollution and animal communication. So I'll type that, search, and I get a list of articles that are relevant to this search. The first thing I'll do when I get that list is look at the titles and say species sensitivities to a global pollutant, a meta-analysis on acoustic signals in response to anthropogenic noise. Now this is a meta-analysis, which means it's actually a secondary paper, a secondary type of literature, but it's going to have materials and methods because they are writing the materials and methods section based on how are they surveying in a very systematic way, how they're surveying the literature available on this topic. So this will not be a primary source, but it will still be very informative because actually they're looking at all the literature out there. So it would be a great place for me to find possible sources. And this is a relatively recent paper, so it doesn't have any citations. So I will open that in a new window. And I might also change this by looking at how many times I've been cited so that I look at what are some of the foundational articles in this topic. So some of the most highly cited. Like this one, daytime noise predicts nocturnal singing in urban robins. So the topic sounds interesting. So it's looking at how noise is affecting the singing behavior of this bird. And once I read the title and I find it interesting, the next thing I will do is read the abstract and say, okay, is this really what I'm looking for? And then the next thing you would do will be download the PDF. So you will click at find it at FIU to get the PDF. And there it is. So then the next thing I will do will be save it to my computer. But not only would I need to download this PDF and read it, but I will also, if I'm including this article in my literature review, I also need to have the reference for this article. So one option is to do the citations by hand, but I really don't recommend that because it's very tedious and it's also very likely to lead to errors. So what I recommend is that you download and install a reference managing software. The one that I use is called Mendeley, and you can install it in your desktop and you have to install the software, and you also need to download a plugin and install it onto Microsoft Word. And like you said, all FIU students have access to Microsoft Word, so you can download it from the ETS website. Once you've downloaded and installed Mendeley, you can go back to your search and you can export the citation directly from Web of Science. So you would export the full record in this big text format, you click export, and then it might automatically recognize Mendeley, and if not, you just select Mendeley from your options, and it will open the Mendeley application, and it would show your citation right there. And so while you're writing your article, you say you're writing about this article, so you have your title and introduction, and your section 1 is about noise pollution and bird singing behavior. And so in this section, I find that noise affects whatever it is that I find from this paper. And I will include the citation for this. So there I mentioned the main finding or the thing that I'm going to use from this article, and I want to include the reference for it. So I go to, once I install Mendeley and the plugin app onto Word, I go into insert or edit citation, insert it, and the person who I could look for keywords. So I could look the author last name. I remember it was Richard Fuller, or I could just say maybe something about noise. In your case, you would only have the references that you've already added, so you won't have a long list. So, okay, yes, this is the paper that I'm looking for. If you have multiple sources that you want to cite there, you can add more. If you only have one paper for this particular thing, you just add this one. But let's say I have another one that I want to add, and I'll just put that, and 2 is enough. So I say, okay, this 2. I don't know, maybe it's the same that. And this should automatically put the citations that I want there. Now, the other cool thing is once I'm at the end of my article that I'm writing, and I have the reference section, which I could call references or cited work, I can just go here and say insert bibliography, and this will automatically insert the 2 papers or any paper that I've cited. And the cool thing is it already organizes them in alphabetical order, and it has all the elements that I need, so it makes it really easy. The other good thing is, let's say the default is this APA format, but I can decide, you know what, I don't want that format. I'm going to use this other format. I actually edited my own, so I'm going to use my own format. And this will automatically reformat the citation into the way that I want it. And it doesn't cost me really any work to do that. So I show you how you can download the citation from Web of Science into Mendeley. You can also open your Mendeley desktop and search for citations right there. So you can say, if you have a citation, so let's look at this other paper that we have here. So we want to get the reference. Instead of doing it straight here, for some reason, maybe you already did your search and you don't want to go back to science, to the Web of Science. So you just want to get the citation and you already have the paper. So I would look here and I could search for maybe some keywords, and I put the author last name. Usually that's a good way to ensure you're gonna get there. And look, right here it is, anthropogenic noise reduces noise. Well, actually that is not the same one. This one is called species sensitivities to a global pollutant. So I need to look for species here, species sensitivity to a global pollutant. Oh, this is the one that, the paper that I'm using. So I found it on Mendeley and I can save the reference. So now it's saved on my library. I can go back to Word and say that actually, and let's say I want to say that this person. So another way to cite is you might mention the authors directly in the text. So let's say, but actually, Kunk and Smith. And I just want the year. When you do it this way, you already have the authors listed there. So the citation should only include the year. So I look, oh. Okay. That, but since I already had the names here, I don't want to duplicate them. The reference should only include the year. I can click on this, select the citation that I'm looking at, and going back to this insert, go back to it. And in here, I say suppress author. And so this suppress author is so that it only shows the year. And by doing that, it would refresh. It would still show the citation at the end, but now the in-text citation only shows the year because I'm already citing the authors before that. So like you see, this is really easy to use once you have it working, and it makes your life so much easier. So I really recommend that you get this. It's completely free, so I really recommend that you download the software and you use that to get your citations, because it will make your life so much easier.